and Scott Show. We are feeling good today.
Multi-Emmy Award-winning co-hosts Sukanya Krishnan and Scott Stanford captivate viewers with their infectious personalities
What you gonna do today?
and unmatched chemistry.
Irish accent.
Suki, this is a Belgian accent. Don't you know your Belgian accent?
I do not.
Suki and Scott are hanging out with celebrities.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
You guys are talented amongst your own selves.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
We'll be right back.
Elite comedians
Suki and Scott and Wayne. Got a big heart, Scott.
and entertainers from all four corners of the world. Suki and Scott share moments that make you think.
I just ate 2 grapefruits, and nothing sexual about what happened here, I gotta tell you.
Uplifting stories that inspire.
No matter how hard life gets or what you go through, you can always make it through.
And they'll make you smile.
I'm Mike Wallace.
Now more than ever, the world needs laughter.
Just slip out the back, Jack.
Suki and Scott are ready.
Okay, this one.
Let's laugh together. The Suki and Scott Show.
We love you.
Yes, Suk. What's going on?
What's going on with you, handsome? How are you doing? New time slot?
New time slot. We come on anytime we want because it doesn't even matter, Suki.
Anytime is the right time for Suki and Scott. That's how we're
love
going
it.
to say that.
Remember we used to do the, we were on the morning show. I just lost name. When you would introduce me and I do, what's his name? Somebody's getting pregnant up in here tonight, Suki.
It is almost the weekend, Scott. So you know what?
my God.
Anything can happen. Anything
Wait,
can happen.
Who's the comedian? I forgot his name. He got hit by the Walmart truck.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. I'm sorry, his name just left my head. Somebody getting pregnant, Suki. Suk, we have an amazing show this afternoon, special time, because we have a special guest down here at 5:30 on the East Coast. I don't even know why I'm giving out the time because it doesn't matter when we take the show down and air it. Rob Decina is VP Casting, CBS Studios here in New York. He's been involved with some of the biggest shows that are on TV right now. And he's got a new book out that, helps people. Because, listen, here's the deal, right? And he says it perfectly. There's a difference between the craft of acting and the business of auditioning.
Absolutely.
Right? So going in for an audition is a whole different deal. And he's got this book out right now, The Art of Auditioning, Techniques for Television. So Rob's going to share with us some of the secrets that, the big wigs look for. And listen, Suk, he's in the green room. He can't hear me now. Just be on your best behavior. He's probably going to want us to do something on some CBS show, but just we got to pretend we can't do it. All right, we got to pretend we're very busy.
Pretend we can't. Say we did.
And so, Suk, listen. Before we get to Rob, a couple of things I just want to hit you with.
A little business.
A little business. I'm a little upset. I'm upset. I got to tell you why I'm upset because you know me.
Why?
You know how we always spoke about A-Rod and J-Lo, and his happiness always brings me down when A-Rod's happy.
When A-Rod's happy, you're upset.
When A-Rod's happy, I'm just so like when the whole thing blew up with J-Lo, I'm like, I told you they were never going to get to a wedding, right?
You did say that, and I didn't believe it at the time. I was like that. Who knew that Ben Affleck and J-Lo? I mean, the world is always changing. But go ahead. So what happened with A-Rod?
I am a former award-winning sports anchor. I know A-Rod like the back of my hand. He's a putz, to put it mildly. But anyway, so I see this in the paper yesterday. Catherine Paget recaps PDA-filled trip of a lifetime with Alex Rodriguez.
Oh my
God.
God.
This guy's sailing around the world on a yacht with a beautiful blonde, and he's happy again. And that just pisses me off. I'm in my basement trying to make a living, and A-Rod's rolling around with 8,000 women and there's billions of dollars. And when he's happy, I'm not, Suk. You know
what's so funny?
It brings me down.
You know what? And she's 25 years old.
Yeah, 25 years old.
Of course she's going to say yes to a trip of a lifetime. Just saying. She's going to say yes to go to, especially if she's a fashion blogger. I mean, come on.
Suk, there's pictures of her like feeding him grapes while he's laying there with it tanned up, and it just drives me insane. So you know what I have to do to cheer me back up?
Put pictures of J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
You know what I
back
do?
up?
No, I play this.
And she speaks 17 different languages. You could have stopped at the son of China's richest man. And we're off, ladies and gentlemen.
Coco speaks Chinese. Get it?
I get it.
See, that cheers me right up all the time.
It cheers me up too. Now I'm like, yeah.
It's beautiful. Sook, listen, coming up later on, we're kind of splitting up double duty today. Later on at 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, we have Phil's back. Adrienne Barbeau joins us. Television movie legend Adrienne Barbeau. Were you? I know you were kind of young, but did you ever watch Maude when you were a kid?
Not really.
B. Arthur, you never. And then
I knew B. Arthur from Golden Girls. I didn't know her from Maude. How's that?
All right. And
I don't think we were in the country yet.
So you weren't over from.
We weren't here from India yet.
From India?
No, we weren't here. We weren't here to absorb all the culture that America had to give us.
She was in Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and all kinds of great movies. I can't wait to talk to her later on. But first, we got Rob Decina, VP Casting, New York, CBS Studios. Sook, here's a little bit of some of the stuff Rob's been involved with, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. Take a look. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Rob, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm actually great now. Those intros were amazing. The laughing segment. I'm sitting here smiling, waiting to come in. I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Listen, anytime you need, if you're in a bad mood, I'll flip you that Suki wheezing piece. It'll take care of you.
I'm already searching for it on YouTube.
It's got to be out there somewhere. Rob, how's it going, man? Listen, let's get right into this thing. VP Casting, CBS Studios in New York. Let's get the COVID situation out of the way first, because obviously during COVID, and I think still even now, everything is a lot of self-tape auditions, right? How much harder is that for you? And we'll get into some of the specific shows you've been involved with, but how much harder is that for you to have people send in tapes rather than you sitting at that table and people walking in and doing stuff right in front of you? Is there a big difference?
Oh, there's a huge difference. It's a great observation. I mean, I actually hate it. In all honesty, it's really just missing the personal element and the connection that you have with an actor and being able to be in the room with them and being helpful. Right. Being able to just sort of, give them a note or an adjustment, or, quite honestly, sometimes just save their time, sometimes, you got it in 1 or 2 takes and you tell them we can move on. And, so everybody's kind of working in a vacuum now. I'm working in a vacuum. The actors are working in a vacuum. And, I'm glad we're, knock on wood, I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're able to sort of keep the industry going and keep the job going and all that. And production going, but it's a bit of a challenge because of that, missing that personal connection, and then quite honestly, I would see about 70 actors a day, maybe 75 on a lot. It's like 2 actors every 15 minutes from 10 to 6 every day. Yeah, I'm sort of a ground and pound casting director, as I like to say. Like I like to see a lot of people. Because the more people you see, the more opportunities you give, and the more the percentages will work that you're going to find someone you need. So if you double that now, I'm probably doing about around 150 self tapes a day, because there's no limit, there's no clock sort of saying, oh, well, you booked these people today and now you have to book people tomorrow. So you just kind of say yes a lot, and you see a lot of tapes. So it's hard to sort of sit at the computer and watch that many tapes. That's the real sort of challenge of it. There's no small talk. There's no interaction. There's
and talk about having like seconds to make an impression. Like really, I mean, it literally is like you've got like a millisecond to like catch your attention, or you're just moving on and not really paying attention.
Yeah, that's what actors ask me all the time. It's like, well, you know, how is it to watch those tapes? And you know, the truth is, you watch as much as you can until you get that feeling of like, well, maybe this isn't the one, you know, and then you kind of move on. And you know, I tell actors it's really that first 30 seconds is so important, but also don't try and do anything in those first 30 seconds to sort of make a big impression, because that probably would backfire. So it's a real sort of challenge for everybody. But again, I'm hoping we're going to get out of it. It feels, you know, we're back in the office a little bit, and I'm hoping we're not allowed to have actors in yet, but that's a union thing. But I'm hoping that they come to an agreement soon, and that the future will be a little bit of both. I think
it's kind of like broadcast news, Rob, because we get 30 seconds to make an impression, and it was like, you got 30 seconds, put it all on the top. If he likes you, he'll watch another minute. But you got like literally 30 seconds, and back in the days, it used to be the eject button. But I mean, obviously, you just move through the
totally agree with you. And what I was going to say was, I think the future is a combination. I think when we're allowed to have actors back in the room, I think there'll be an element of where we'll still have some actors do self-tapes, and I think we'll have certain actors come in. And you know, a lot of also actors have moved away from the city, so you're certainly not going to require people to come in that have, you know, left the sort of tri-state area. So I'm actually excited to see what the future brings in terms of future auditioning.
Yeah, it's funny because when I'll get, you know, and I think Suki too, I'll get like emails for, you know, self-tape auditions for hosting and things like that. And you go through the instructions and it's like, okay, first slate your name. We need a medium shot. Then we need a full shot. Then a this shot. And I'm always like, you know what? Screw it, man. I'm coming on. I got no time to get the medium. I got my phone. I'm trying to set it up. I'm like, here's the script. If they like me, they'll take me. But it's just and there's, you know, so many times I'll send things in and I'm like, man, I was perfect for that. How could they not love me? And you don't hear anything. Wow. You know, nine out of 10 things you don't hear back from it. It's just, you know, it's a numbers game.
And he's got a whole kind of, you know, help through process when you don't hear back. There's so many things that we don't even know that are happening and not happening, and that's why we have the art of auditioning, which really is techniques for television. So I wanted to know, all those years as a casting director, you have to have that kind of, somebody walks in the room and you're like, God, that's a star right there. That is somebody that we just have to like kind of invest in. This is raw. This is in the making. Can you name like 2 or 3 people that we would all know that you were able to give them their big break?
Well, you know, I gave an actor named Matt Bomer his first job, or one of his first jobs when he came out of school, when I was casting Guiding Light. And, you know, Matt was one of those guys that, you know, he sort of walked in and you were like, this guy's just got this sort of magnetic energy and he's super talented. You know, so he's certainly someone, you know, that I can sort of remember those moments. And, you know, there are other actors that you just, you know, it's like a lightning bolt connection. You sort of, they're in the waiting room and they sort of have this sort of energy, you know, around them. You know, you showed those slides before one of the CW shows, Nancy Drew. The actress playing Nancy Drew. There she is. That's Kennedy McMahon. You know, Kennedy was right out of Carnegie Mellon. You know, she just graduated from college in May, and I met her that summer. And then, you know, that January, February, we got that script, and, you know, it was like, oh, she'd be great for that. You know, it just sort of lined up, and you know, she had that thing too, that sort of star quality. And, you know, and she's the lead of a television series, you know, coming right out of college, which is a pretty amazing accomplishment if you kind of knew all the steps and all the processes and all the approvals and all the actors that audition and all the offers that they make. And it's quite a challenge to become the lead of a series. And there's an example of someone who, you know, we sort of met, and, you know, and within 4 months or so, she was the lead of a television show.
Talk about being shot out of a cannon. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you come across a lot, and obviously you don't have to mention any names, but you know, like you say, she'd be perfect for this role. Were there more times than not that you said, oh, you know what, so-and-so would be perfect for this role, but they come in and read for you and you're like, nah, no, that's no good?
Well, I mean, that, you know, that happens. Just sometimes you know, look, not every actor is right for every role. So you could be a super talented, really amazing actor, but it's just the sort of character and you just sort of don't align. Sometimes I think someone's perfect for a role, but then there's people in the approval process of getting an actor cast that sort of don't agree with you. Casting directors love to say, I just actually said it, didn't I? Oh, I cast this actor. I cast this actor. We do that all the time. But the truth is, for me to quote unquote cast an actor, like 15 people have to agree with me. Producers, directors, writers, casting executives at the studio level, casting executives at the network level. There's a lot of people that are in the approval chain, people in development. And a lot of people have to agree. They don't always have to agree, but they come to sort of happy medium. So, casting directors are gatekeepers. We give opportunities to actors, and then we support those people that we believe in, and we're sort of then moving them up the line to others and saying, "Look, I believe in this person. I think this person is the person for the role." And then what you don't say is, "And I hope you agree with me." And sometimes you have to try and convince them, and other times they see it. And I think, to your point, Scott, many times they don't see it. And then I learned from one of my early bosses who said that you can't make people believe they're seeing something that they don't think they're seeing.
Right.
And I think about that all the time, because it's true. Sometimes I want to convince people, no, but if they don't see it, they just don't see it.
It's amazing. What a business. What a business.
I just kind of, I think the backstory of how you ended up as a casting director is kind of fascinating in itself. So can you share that with everybody?
Yeah. I mean, look, I was somebody who grew up and always wanted to be in the television or movie business, and I didn't know how to do that. It felt like I should have been, those people were from another planet.
Totally.
I didn't know how to do that. So I went to, I'm a local tri-state area guy, and I went to a communications school, and I got a communications degree, and I kind of graduated, and I didn't know what I was doing and didn't have anything lined up. And one of my teachers said, you should go to grad school and learn about acting and directing. So I did that. When I was in grad school, I did which was for theater. I was learning to be a theater director, learning about acting, and I did a casting internship. And that kind of really got me started. I was, given a lot of responsibility. People sort of liked being around me, and they were, you have a nice demeanor for this. And they pulled me aside and said, you're learning about being a director and how to direct actors and learning about acting. And this casting space is a space where you can use that skill set to help actors in an audition room, rather than directing a play or directing the show or directing a movie. And that sort of resonated with me in a sort of practical way, and that was it. And then I started jumping around sort of to freelance jobs, and eventually, been, knock on wood, been fortunate enough to have a couple of these corporate jobs, and then was a
couple of small corporate jobs, just little ones, Rob. Nothing to brag about, really.
I know. I've been very fortunate. It's not always been easy. There's been some downtimes and some vacancies where you're thinking, well, am I out of this business? And then you kind of keep digging and keep crawling and stay busy with smaller projects, and then it sort of comes around. So I worked at Warner Brothers, and then I mentioned I was at Guiding Light. I did this soap job for 10 years, which was really great, and I directed there. And then went back into the freelance world, where you saw some of those other credits, like Insatiable and Shades of Blue, where I was just sort of an episodic casting director. And then I've been fortunate enough to be, that was a fun show.
That was a good one. I loved it.
Yeah, that was really great. I was hoping that lasted a little longer.
I always hope these shows last a little bit longer. I'm always like, God, is it really over?
Yeah.
And let's talk about Shades of Blue. I mean,
sure.
I am so sad to hear of the passing. I mean, just, Jay, I mean, he was my everything. I mean, I cannot tell you. From the moment I saw him and his steely blue eyes, I was just like, God, I love him.
And Goodfellas.
He was really great. He was really great. I could tell.
What was he like?
Oh, he was great. The first time I met him was in a room with 50 people at the original table read of Shades of Blue, which is, when they get all the actors together to read the script, and there's lots of people. I mean, it was because of that show and who was involved. There were a lot of people in that room, and they said to me, I thought I was just there to watch, and they were like, "Here, would you read a couple of the small parts?" Because they didn't, So I was like, "Of course." And of course, one of my lines was with Ray, and we were probably 50 yards apart. Like, he was at one head of the table, and I was literally like just sitting to the side. And I just remember saying my line and him looking. I'm telling this story because of his blue eyes. He like kind of peering across everybody, and I was like, "Oh my God, Ray's staring at me." And I think he was like, "Who the hell is that guy?" He hadn't met me yet, and his eyes were just amazing. Jump to, we were casting an actor to play his son in the series, and I got word that Ray wanted to come in and read with the final 2 or 3 actors for the part. And I thought, oh, well, that really tells you something about the actor and the guy, that he was willing to, do that. Like he wanted to do that for the betterment of the show and for him and for the actors. So I always say when you work with, when you're with stars like that, like, what do I need to know? And
what do you need to know with that kind of level of Ray Liotta?
Yeah, well,
Jennifer Lopez.
Like,
I mean, that's
like,
kind
what
of
do you need to know? What do they need? What do they want? And and the only thing I was told with Ray was have a triple iced espresso ready for him. And I said, I can do that. That's great. And he came in and I said, Ray, hey Ray, I'm Rob. And he said, oh, you're right. You're the one I'm looking for, right? And I said, yeah, I've got this for you. And it was funny because he said, oh, you got me one? He goes, I already had one in the car. And I was like, this is going to be a good session if Ray Liotta's on 6 iced espressos. But he was so great. He was such a pro, and he just was like a really nice guy. He was great to me, and I was very sad when that news came.
I was
across.
too.
Yeah, brutal. I was looking at a couple of the other things. So you were involved with the Comey rule, right? And this was, you talk about, trying to cast 2 guys, right? Jim Comey and Donald Trump. And you go with Brendan Gleeson and Jeff Daniels, and they actually, it matches up pretty well. When you guys are looking to cast something like this, because we have a guy, John DiDomenico, who comes on, who is he impersonates Trump to the T, right? But he's a comedian. Are you looking for guys? Because like when you look at Jeff Daniels and Comey, they kind of look alike. And I guess Gleason kind of looks like Trump, but when he comes in and auditions, does he have the Trump mannerisms down? Or you're first looking for an actor who looks like him, and then you worry about the mannerisms second?
Well, in full disclosure for that project, there's the way my job works is I'm in New York, and there's usually an LA team, and on that particular project, the LA team did most of that major casting.
Okay,
so they were dealing with those sort of name actors for the project, and then we were just sort of the support staff and sort of casting the New York actors that were going to be on the show, which was mostly sort of the guest stars and the recurring actors. So as much as I'd like to say I was involved in the casting of Trump and Comey, I was not. But to answer your question, you're really just looking for the best actors possible who have a similar look. That hair and makeup are going to be able to sort of step up and kind of make up the difference. You're never looking for an impression. And I think that's the thing, and I think the LA casting team did a great job getting those guys.
Yeah, very
Rob,
cool.
in your book, you talk about the craft of acting and the business of auditioning, and life is really kind of feels like it is a business of auditioning these days for everything and anything, really. Yeah. Even our children kind of feel that way when they're talking to their teachers. It's like, you gotta level up really quickly, and you gotta hit hard with the right poignant questions or not. What are the directives that you choose to share in the book, especially in light of the world that we live in, that everything right now seems to be an audition, whether it's online, whether it's, people growing their Instagram follow, the whole likability factor, relatability factor, all of that. What would you like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, there's, this is the second edition of a book that came out in 2004, and by 2006 everything changed.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of thinking for 10 years how to adjust it and make changes, and obviously COVID sort of changed that a lot. But so there's a lot in the book that's for actors, like there's a technique, like, hey, do these. In the original, it's like, do these 20 things, and in this one, it's like, do these 6 things. So I've sort of simplified the sort of process. But I think to answer your question, I think the philosophical stuff that I write about for auditioning can really be carried into outside of the audition
world.
room. Yeah. And really what I sort of realized from the business. So I came at it grad school with an MFA in theater, and I thought of myself in a very sort of artistic way. And then when I started working in casting, I realized and I just thought, well, art is art and acting is acting, and the camera just captures it. And then I realized, well, this has nothing to do with that. It was a real sort of shock to sort of see me, and I felt like this is really more of a job interview for an actor than it is a performance. And I think actors think that you perform in an audition when really you're just really kind of showing your skill set in the limited time you have to work on it with the material they gave you. It's sort of just a snapshot. So what I come up with was this sort of philosophy, which was sort of a, kind of what I learned and what I learned from school and learned in the real world, which was it's sort of hard to embrace, but it's meant to be positive, which is I write about and I tell actors, which is when you audition, don't look at the audition, don't make the goal booking the job. In fact, accept the idea that you're not going to book the job. Put the idea of booking the job out of the realm of possibility, because so many things have to go your way for you to get that. And most of the time, you're going to put so much pressure and expectation on getting the job. And there's really a mental health element to that, which is like, I'm going to get this job and then you don't. I'm going to get this one and I don't. I'm going to get this one and I don't even hear about it. Right? So don't make that the point of the job. Make the job about establishing relationships with the casting office. Make the audition, the job is to connect with people. So it's a relationship-driven business. So the first time you're auditioning for me, don't look at it as I'm going to book this job. Look at it as like, hey, I can use this audition scene as an opportunity to introduce myself to Rob Decina and establish a business relationship with him. And then the next time you have an audition with me, it's not you're going to book that one. It's then you're going to continue the relationship. And then hopefully you're the right actor at the right time at the right role. So the way to sort of that I came up with more creatively and I think more empowering for the actor and then people, if you want to take it to your life, is instead of saying, well, accept the fact I'm not going to book the job, because there's something negative about that, even though it's actually very freeing, use the audition to offer your gift. Use the audition to offer your gift. And your gift is what you understand about acting today. It'll be more tomorrow, as it relates to the pages, as it relates to the time you have. And what that does is it puts the actor in a much more empowering situation, which is, I hope you like this, rather than, I need you to like this. I need you to hire me. I want you to hire me. It's just saying like, look, this is what I have and I'm offering it to you and I hope you like it. And this is what I have, and I hope you like it. And I just keep offering your gift, whether that's at an internship, whether that's at a job, whether that's at an audition or an interview or this talk show here, whatever it is, just put out your good energy, skill set, craftsmanship, artistic sensibility in the moment, and hope people like what you're putting out there. Eventually, somebody will. Rather than you getting, I'm going to get this one, I'm going to book this one, I'm going to, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. The truth is, the Kenny McMahon story, that's not the norm, It's not the norm that you book a lead of a series out of school. 450 actors audition for that part, maybe more. One actor always gets it. Wow. So I think that was a really important element for me in that book, which was in the first book, and it sort of stayed, which is, I think, shows how important it was for me. And I just I say to actors all the time, like, don't get caught up on, anything more than, this is you and me. We're meeting each other. We're establishing a relationship. You worked hard on this all night, whether it's a self-tape or coming in the room, and you're just showing me what you worked on. And then you're hoping I like it. And if the truth is, I might not like it for this, but I may be thinking about, I have something next week, or I have a project in a month, or I know something's coming down the road, and you'd be perfect for that. And that's why the relationship is important.
Perfect advice. And Rob, was there a show throughout, let's say even the last 20 years, I don't want to go back too far because we're very young, we don't go back that far. Was there ever a show that became an absolute sensation, or a movie that became a blockbuster hit where at first you and maybe the people you work with were like, nah, that's miscast. It was a miscast role. Can you think of any? And it turned out to be like, now we associate that person with that role. Were any of them like that?
I can't think of anything that fits that example, but I will tell you from a business side, we work on shows. I've worked on shows and I thought this show is going to be it.
Is it?
This is it. And it's got a great cast, and it's a great story, and there's great people involved. And sometimes those shows fizzle away, or they don't even get picked up from, let's say, a pilot. You know, they don't even go to like series. And you think, how did that happen? It seemed like it was a no-brainer. And then there's those other shows which you sort of work on, and you don't really know if it's going to be a thing or not, and they sort of find their way.
Right.
And I think it just relates to the unpredictability of this sort of business.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you look at Seinfeld, right? The first year, the first couple shows, it was a dud, and next thing you know, it's one of the biggest money makers in the history of television.
Absolutely, for sure.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I actually think what you said, Rob, is something that everybody, all our viewers, can take away, because I do think
phenomenal.
Life is, I always say it is an audition, because every day you're meeting people, you're connecting, you're making impressions, you're saying things that have an effect. So put that positive energy out there, even for kids just starting it. Scott and I help a lot of kids trying to get, internships, first jobs, whatever. I'm always like, just go out there and just try your best. I mean, all you can do is wow them and like say, that's a good person. I like that person. I want that energy on our team. And then you just, you build from there. And I think that's something that we're forgetting about, that we're building community.
Right.
That whole sensibility of like being inspirational and aspirational at the same time.
Right.
And that there is no one size fit all. I mean, like, I think we're coming back to the foundation of how we were all raised, in the sense that, you win some, you lose some, but you're still building in the process. Right. You win, and I think that we've forgotten that along the way.
Well,
we're always going for the win, the kill,
right. And I think, one of the words that you just said that really resonates with me is likability. It's like, if someone likes you, they're going to work harder for you. They're going to fight for you. And, so when you're putting yourself out there with positive energy and offering what your skill set is and working hard, which I think is super important, and being nice to people, people are going to respond to that more than if you aren't likable because you are there for the wrong reasons or not happy, or there's something, and listen, nobody's perfect, right? We're all human beings. I relate everything to the audition room, right? So it's like, look, you might be having a hard day. There might be something going on in your personal life. You might, there might be a bill that's hunting you down, or a credit card or something, or something in your personal life. But when you come to the audition, you've got to leave that stuff in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Because that's going to affect the work. And if it affects the work, then the work is, and the work is affected. So then we're evaluating the work, but we're really it's because you've let that sort of outside thing in, and then that hurts your likability factor. Yeah. And by the way, there are many talented actors. There are many great auditioners. There are many great actors. There's great stories, directors, writers, producers. The one thing we're always looking for is that likability. Yeah. Even in the characters that are villains, right? There's a likability to
the human aspect of it, right?
Absolutely.
Likability, relatability. You talk, Rob, about first impressions. Suki and I go right in with this headshot right here. And we, it just leads the way for us.
Jeez.
So we usually anytime we go for co-hosting stuff, that gets us the job. We don't even have to audition. Because
talk about offering your gift. I mean,
that is our gift, Rob.
You're offering your gift right there.
I love it. Well, listen, here's the book. It is called, let me grab it up for you again. The book is called The Art of Auditioning. It's the second edition, Techniques for Television. And listen, these days, everybody's, everybody becomes, Instagram famous or TikTok famous. And it's all well and good that people want to grab you and give you shows because you have 10 million followers.
But are you prepared?
Doesn't always translate over to television. Those people don't always come over and watch you on TV. So you always got to be ready for those auditions. And I got to tell you, Rob, a lot of times I'll leave an audition in the city or whatever it was, and I'll call my wife and say, there is no way that I'm getting this gig. And I get the gig. It's the ones that I think I do the worst on, that I don't have a shot, that are the ones when I walk out and go, man, that was pretty good. You should have a good shot at that. You don't hear from anybody. The ones I didn't think I did well on, I'm like, the woman will call. I'm like, you're kidding me. I thought I sucked at that. But
there's probably a freeing element that you weren't aware of because you felt the disconnect to it. But what was being offered, you were very connected and relaxed you know, in the moment.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. No, I remember what the last few auditions we had, I had a really nice character actor came in. He's about 80 years old. And he, you know, I was just so, hey, thank you for coming in. And, you know, like, you know, just a guy I've known for a long time. And he did an audition and he just kind of mumbled and he goes, you know, Rob, after all these years, he goes, it's always the ones I never think I'm going to get that I get.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you just said. And
That's wild.
There is an element of that, you know. And I always say, like, you driving home thinking of an audition is scary, because for me, like I always say, like once it's like, well,
it's gone.
Once it's gone, you got to forget about it. That's really the freeing element of offer your gift. The rest of it is, and forget about it, because do I have a minute? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of this is about control, right? So I mentioned, like, I'm a gatekeeper, right? So what I'm saying is, like, I'm in control. They give me a script, they give me some sides, they tell me to work on a part, and there's a lot, you know, involved with that. Well, so in a way, I'm in control, and I say which actors are going to get that in an audition. Like, I'm handing out the auditions. You get an audition, right? I do that, you know. So if I say 150, 250, whatever actors are going to get an audition, I'm in control of that moment. But the moment I say you get that audition and you get that audition information, you are now in control. You are in control of that audition for that from the moment you get it, the moment you open that email, the moment you get that phone call, whatever the case is, and you are in control all the way through the audition until either in the self-tape world, when you hit send on your email with the self-tape.
Right.
Once you do that, you are now no longer in control of that audition. You're giving that audition control back to me. Or if you came in the room and I said, hey, thanks for coming, that was really nice. When I say thanks for coming, that means the audition's over. You know, hey, thanks for coming. I'm really taking control of the audition again. And now it's up to me. What do I do with that? Do I like it? Do I ask for an adjustment? Do I give you an adjustment? Do I send it to the producers, etc.? So the mindset of the actor is, great, I've got this opportunity. What do I do while I'm in control? The beauty, if you can get there, is, okay, I've done the audition, I've offered it. They thank me, I hit send, whatever the case is. I'm not even going to think about it anymore. I'm just going to let it go.
Right. Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. And if it comes back to you, great. And if it doesn't, move on to the next.
Something else will. Stay positive. How do you stay positive? Because you talked about even in your own career where there are moments where you had jobs and then you kind of downshifted in your career and then you were able to, like, do another deep dive into and wait it out and then rebuild back. How does one do that in an environment that is so fast moving? And you also said there's a sense of feeling forgotten, a sense of not feeling valued or valuable anymore. How does one regain those moments of self-value, especially in an industry that feels very kind of fast foodish, you know, like in and out, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I learned a lot about myself when I realized I learned a lot of my own self-value was caught up in my employment. You know, that my value in myself was my value in my jobs because I love what I do. So when that was sort of taken away from me, not like, you know, I mean, like I just had, you know, a show would get canceled.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
I was at Guiding like 10 years and then it got canceled. Then it was like, okay, you have to sort of start over. Or there was a time where I was doing Insatiable and Shades of Blue and they kind of all ended at the same time. And one got canceled, the one went on hiatus and then there were no jobs. And so I just kept refocusing and I kept redigging and I wasn't afraid to, like, take a small gig or take a small indie film just to stay busy and stay active and stay relevant. And I just try to remind myself of my own philosophy, which is not always the easiest thing to do, but it's to say, you know, just like stay positive, keep building relationships, keep making connections, keep putting yourself out there, be likable to people. And then some people will come around and honestly, that's what happened. You know, this might be a little corny, but I had these bracelets here.
I love
that. And the producer of Insatiable, a great woman named Lauren Gustis, we were having lunch in Los Angeles, and she said that this was between season 1 and season 2, and she said that she was really trying to manifest a season 2 pickup. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, you know, I've got everybody doing the mantra, I think she said, or the chant. I was at the time, by the way, I was out of work. I was in LA taking interviews. So I was kind of in a down place, but she didn't know that. And I said, well, what's the mantra? She said, well, I'm telling everybody they have to say, I believe the impossible is possible. And she said it, and I like my spine went up. I just said it,
Yeah.
it just happened again. And I said, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "I'm just telling everybody, just say every day, I believe the impossible is possible." And I was like, done. And that's so I made these bracelets, by the way, and I used to put them in the waiting room. We had a waiting room for actors. I bought about 500 of them for actors.
I love that.
Shake. And she, you know, that saying really helped me through, as you were asking, those dark periods, because I reminded myself that sort of positive energy that you're sort of putting out there really can help create things. And I would drive around when I was out of work, and I would just say it every now and then. I believe the impossible is possible. So I wear it on my wrist to remind myself of that.
Suki and I have headband size.
We're gonna make a headband. I believe the impossible is possible. I believe
do it.
We will be of value again.
Credit to Lauren Gussis.
Unreal. Rob, listen, one more thing before you go. Great series, Your Honor. I loved it on Showtime.
Yeah.
I assume Bryan Cranston doesn't come into audition. They just say he's our guy.
Well, that's correct. Look, anytime you're dealing with a A-level talent like that, Ray, you know, Bryan Cranston, they're they get offered and they get attached to the show, and they help those shows get made. I will say that Bryan did the exact same thing that Ray did. He came in when we were auditioning actors for his son, which was those. So that was also a New York, LA experience. There was a LA head casting director, and then I was doing the New York support. We added a lot of people to that show because it's shot in New Orleans. And Bryan was doing network on Broadway at the time, and he said I could be there Sunday after a matinee, and I'll read with the final 3 or 4 actors. And he came in, and he was the most generous, nicest person I maybe have ever been around. I could not believe that this was the guy from Breaking Bad, and he was so great and so just lovely guy. And I saw him do network, and it was maybe the most amazing performance I'd ever seen on stage. So it was like I was just sort of in this Bryan Cranston world. So yeah, those guys are
best friend. Is that guy from Seinfeld? Why am I forgetting it? Is it? Oh, who told us the story that he was the best man at their wedding? Come on, Scotty.
I think it's Tom Hanks.
Tom
Is it
Hanks?
Tom Hanks?
Is it Tom Hanks? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I think so, but I might be wrong. I know him. I think they're friendly. I don't know.
I don't
know him that well.
Yeah, I am the danger on the other side of that door. Great lines.
Great.
Rob, listen, man, thank you so much for the time. Listen, it's incredible.
It's
the art of
incredible,
auditioning, techniques for television. You got to go check it out. You get it on Amazon and
quite frankly, techniques for life, right? I mean, like really, honestly, every kind of how he's parceling stuff out is stuff that we all can use in our everyday life. And I even think, passing it along to our children, because, we need to kind of reprogram how we've all been programmed to think about getting things and the process of life is really connecting with people, creating community.
Totally agree. Totally. Well, thank you both for having
Rob,
me.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, my
friend. This was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. We appreciate it.
This was my headshot when I was a kid right here. I used to send this one.
Was that a good headshot?
Yeah.
Was that a good?
I would say it's a distracting headshot.
I was looking to get into the Brady Bunch.
No, but I already like your. How about your camp one? Your camp one.
Rob, when things
or the
don't
shirtless
work out,
one.
I send this one when I was.
Look at the abs. You had abs.
I had abs going.
Look at the abs and the hair. My God.
I tried to get into the outsider. They kept me outside. I didn't get in.
I love how fast he is with the drops.
It's all here. It's all here. Listen,
it's
my
all
friend,
there.
Thank you so much again. Just a pleasure, Rob. And hopefully we'd sell some of those books for you. And love to have you back again, my man. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank you both.
Bye, Rob. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care, my friend.
Aww.
What a great career.
I learned a lot. It was very, very inspirational.
That was really
truly
cool.
Big story. I mean, look at what Yvonne is saying. Rob, it was lovely. Amazing. Hope you come back. Thank you so much. Love it, Rob. It was truly great having you on. Love listening to you. Cherry Hetrick. I mean, everyone is saying that they took a little piece of and of course they love your picture.
Everybody love the picture. I could have put up the Suki and Scott mugs.
You could have put up the mugs.
There's our headshots. Anyway, listen, Suk, another great show. Of course, you'll be able to catch it on all these great outlets right here. Rob Decina, Vice President of Casting for CBS Studios in New York. Suk, later on, coming up at 8 o'clock.
Adrian Barbeau.
I guess now you will be out at a cocktail function. Is that what I'm to understand?
Unfortunately, yes, I'll be out. It's a big graduation day here.
Oh, it's okay. So Philly Kid will be in for you. We got Adrian Barbeau coming up, and I will leave you with a little of this on the way out. Suk, I love you, babe. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Enjoy, folks. Take care.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your buddies, your pals, Suki and Scott.
Listen, we have a great show.
Yeah.
It's called the Suki and Scott Show.
Oh, Suk, where did we come up with that idea?
Just a warning, Scott.
What?
We advise everybody, never watch this show. Never watch this show if you want to laugh your ass off.
What? Is this like a reverse psychology thing? Nice.
All right, never watch this show if you want to be part of an exclusive community of friends.
Are we still doing reverse psychology?
I'm doing my best, Scotty.
Yeah. Suk, do we have a ton of celebrities?
Check.
Do we have the best performers?
Of course we do.
And this is a safe place to hang, isn't it?
This is a safe place because no one gets
slapped. Nobody's getting slapped on this show.
No, we're not going there at all.
Can I do the announcer part?
Yes, do it.
The Suki and Scott Show, where happiness lives.
Do I give a thumbs up?
Go.
Hi, I'm Suki.
Hey, everybody. I'm Scott.
All right, Scott, what are you doing?
Suk, you know what? This is a mess. I can't even find the right key to get into the house.
Tell me about it.
Oh
you
my
need to
God.
get the key smart. I can't believe you don't have it.
The Key Smart. That's what I should have. It would help me organize this mess.
What a mess. Think about this and think about this.
Oh, my God.
This is the solution that you need to have.
Hey, what is it? 14 keys on there,
14
right?
keys fit into this handy-dandy device. It also has USB cord.
Yes, for the LED light, which lasts 45 days if you're looking for your keys in the dark. Come on, Suk, who hasn't lost their keys?
Yeah, everybody's lost their keys. I got a story, and this is a true story. I've actually locked my kids in the house.
No
It was
way.
terrible, and
You
I
locked your
actually
kids
had to have the cops come and get my door open. If I had this, I would have known where the keys were, and I would have been able to get my kids and set them free.
Oh, listen, you know what I love about Key Smart is once you have it, for free, you can connect with the Tile app, which means you can actually find your phone with Key Smart. Suk, I got to tell you, I was away overseas visiting my daughter. I left my phone inside a taxi cab. I was paying the guy, left it in there right on the seat. 25 minutes later, by some miracle, I finally got it back. But if I would have had the Key Smart, I would have got it back sooner.
And we've got a really great deal
Yeah.
for you. You can buy one, get one free. Key Smart.
Yeah, we really want you guys to have it. It's 40% off. It's an amazing deal. And you buy one, get one free. Get one for the person you love. Key Smart, localsteels.com.
Hey, Scotty, it's like 80 degrees here in Oklahoma. What? You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to go surfing.
Surfing?
But first, I got to find a surfboard, and then I got to find a beach.
In Oklahoma?
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody'd be surfing like California, yeah. You see them wearing their baggies, Huarache sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, surfing USA. You catch them surfing at Del Mar, Ventura County line, Santa Cruz and Trilo, Australian Caribbean, all over Manhattan, down to anywhere. Everybody's gone surfing USA. Come on! We'll all be planning that route. We're gonna take real soon. We're waxing down our surfboards. We can't wait for June. We'll all be gone for the summer. We're on safari to stay. Tell the teacher we're surfing USA. Where else, Phil? Haggerty's and Swami's, Pacific Palisades.
Nice place.
Sun Trophy and Sunset.
Love Sunset.
Redondo Beach, LA.
Oh, yeah.
All over La Jolla and Waimea Bay. Everybody's gone surfing USA.
Philly Kid, if I'm correct, isn't Oklahoma surrounded on all four sides by land? I mean, do they even have surfboards in Oklahoma? Where are you getting the wax from? You gotta wax up the board real nice, my friend. Come on.
Everybody's gone surfing
surfing USA. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA. Come on, Philly! Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA. Yeah.
On a long and lonesome highway, east of Omaha, you can listen to the engine moaning out his one-note song. You can think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before. But your thoughts will soon be wandering the way they always do when you're riding 16 hours and there's nothing much to do. And you don't feel much like riding, you just wish the trip was through. Say, here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on the stage. Here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Well, you walk into a restaurant, strung out from the road, and you feel the eyes upon you as you're shaking off the cold. You pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Most times you can't hear them talk, but other times you can. All the same old cliches. Is that a woman or a man? And you always seem outnumbered, so you don't dare make a stand. Here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on the stage. Here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Out there in the spotlight, you're a million miles away. Every ounce of energy you try to give away as the sweat pours out your body like the music that you play. Later in the evening, as you lie awake in bed with the echoes from the amplifiers ringing in your head, you smoke the day's last cigarette, remembering what she said. Here I am, on the road again. Here I am, up on the stage. Here I go, playing the star again. Here I